Welcome to the Edge of Greatness podcast. The path to greatness is never linear and requires patience and consistency. Join us on our journey as we peel back the layers of success, searching for that elusive core. Each week we will explore a different component of greatness, utilizing experts who have traveled some part of the path that we are all on. We aim to uncover insights into the areas of leadership, coaching, performance, overcoming failure, the power of habits, and so much more. We are all on the edge of greatness. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Edge of Greatness podcast. Season 3 is here, and let me tell you what, I'm excited about the things that we got coming for you. So the YouTube channel is up, it's running, it's got episodes coming on, we've got clips. We're going to be adding as we go from some of the past episodes while uploading the new ones that we got coming out for Season 3. So that is something I definitely recommend you go check out now. Get on there, subscribe, become part of the journey that we're on. Get the new information as it comes out, and it's going to be some top-notch stuff. So Season 3 has officially kicked off. This last Sunday was an interview with Dr. Detling. If you haven't had a chance to go listen to that one, go give it a quick listen. She has some incredible performance tips for everyone. She's talking about how to control yourself when anxiety hits. She's talking about how to build consistency in your performance, how to overcome mistakes while you're in the middle of the heat of battle, as you will. And it's going to be stuff that's very applicable to all of my athletes, all of my corporate executive people that need to be quick on their feet and make adjustments on the fly. There are some great things in there for you. Going forward from there, I will have 2 more mental performance coaches that'll be coming on shortly, as well as a speaking and communications expert, and that one is going to be very important and very special as well, because as we continue to go deeper into this season, we're going to find just how important it is to have valuable conversations, how important it is to be good and clear in your word choice and how you communicate with others. The messages that we all have, the things we want people to understand and get from us, if we don't have the ability to communicate clearly, it's for nothing. You have to be able to communicate what you want. You have to be able to articulate the things that you're trying to express value in. If you can't do those things, if you can't make your speech clear and effective, you're just speaking to deaf ears at that point, because eventually people are going to tune you out. One of the big things is when you think of people that you enjoy listening to talk, when you think of those individuals, their speech is very engaging. They have a good tone. They have good enunciation. They don't fill the air with words that don't matter. Their speech patterns are consistent, and they're giving information that matters. They're not just wasting your time with talk. Okay? So for me, I think I'm going to try to shorten up some of these talk sessions. I want to get them to be 8 to 10 minutes possibly, but I want to get them more concise. I want to get them more exact on what I'm trying to give you guys, so that way you can take the information that I'm getting and apply it without having to listen to longer, drawn-out episodes. Now, I'm not going to say occasionally there's going to be a topic that I get into and just start rolling, and the next thing you know, I'm 15, 18 minutes in. That's possible. It's going to happen. But primarily what I'm going to try to do is, when I give these chalk talk sessions, I want them to be short, quick hitters. I want them to have information that you can take and apply. I want them to be things that you feel good after you leave. So make sure, if you're following along to this point, you give me feedback, you give me some pointers on what you want to see, what you want to have change. I love the interaction with a lot of the members and guests that we've had on the show to give me personal feedback as well as show directional feedback. So I am absolutely open to learning and taking more from this. Ultimately, it's for you guys. I love the conversations I get to have and the information that I get to retain from the guests that I have on, but I want the information to be for you. So if you're listening, if you're interested in what more we can give you, communicate that to me so I have a direction for what you'd like to see. and we'll go from there. So for today, quick little chalk talk session, nothing too exciting here, just going to give you a quick directional point here when it comes to setting yourself up for success. So I recently completed a book that I was reading. It's called Top Dog: The Difference Between Winning and Losing. And there was a section in there that I believe I've touched on once already in one of my past episodes, but I wanted to go back to it again because I feel like the ability to compete in things that we do is going to open the door for creativity and success and long-term goals. If you don't have a drive to compete with others, find a way to learn where your competitiveness is, because everybody has that in them to compete. We all have the ability to want to compete. Not everybody wants to compete against others. Sometimes we want to compete against ourselves. So find out what type of competitor you are and set yourself up for success by putting you in those situations. All right? Learn how best you compete. Do you compete well when it's a one-on-one, me against myself competition, or do you compete well in a large setting where there's multiple people vying for a single winner? That's important to understand. The other thing to understand is when you start looking at the things you want to accomplish in your daily habits in your life, you set goals for yourself, right? When we think about those goals, look optimistically towards them. Think about how great it'll feel when you achieve them. But after you look at the positives of all of that, go back, lay out the directions of how you're going to achieve those goals. And when you lay out your map for how you're going to achieve those goals, make sure you put in the obstacles. Set yourself up to understand what you're going to do when and if failure occurs. When you hit roadblocks, when you hit adversity, how will you respond? Now, this is valuable not only when you're setting goals, but as an athlete. Having a plan for when something bad happens allows for you to move quicker through the process of overcoming that mistake to stay present and continue to move forward. Okay, so for example, if I have a goal to write a book, all right, I'm just throwing one out there. I have a goal to write a book. Obviously, if I think about this goal, man, it would be really cool to be a published author. It'd be really cool to go to a book signing and have people line up to get my autograph on a book that I have creative license on. But to get to that point, I have to write daily. I have to write consistently. I have to start to create a story. And there's going to be roadblocks. I'm going to receive rejection letters when I start to submit copies. I'm going to find that I have mental blocks throughout the time that I'm writing and nothing's coming out. What I do when I face the adversity is going to ultimately determine if I have success or not. Okay? The way it relates to an athlete is in a moment, I'm going to go with baseball because that's obviously the biggest part of my background. Anyone who's been listening understands that. If I go up to bat in my first at bat, I strike out. It's a terrible at bat. And I swing at a ball in the dirt. I take a fastball in the outside corner, and then I just sit there and swing at the next pitch that's over my head. So I have swung at two terrible pitches, and I took a third pitch that was probably a hittable one, and now my at-bat's over and I have to go back. If I don't have a plan that helps me to reset myself, and it's going to be different for all of you, you have to figure out how you best acknowledge the fact that you had a poor performance in that moment and hit the reset button so you can go out into the field and play defense, but then next time you come up, you're not carrying that with you at the plate. All right? There's going to be bad moments in athletics, in life. No matter what you do, you're going to face adversity. If you've never thought about the possibility of dealing with that adversity, it's going to be a lot harder to overcome it than when you set out to do something, you think about it ahead of time. I know nobody wants to think about the bad things that can happen, but if you don't think about the negatives, if you don't think about the potential bad moments, then when they happen, they devastate you. Take a moment, appreciate what could potentially be great, but be truthful and honest with the things that are going to be difficult. You have to know what they're going to be. You have to set yourself up for it. So one, you're not surprised, and two, you know what to do next. You're going to find that your success is going to be greater. Your reaction to the negative moments is going to be shorter. And you're going to find it's a lot more fun to overcome these adverse moments because you've already thought about what you're going to do when they happen. So go out there, keep striving for great things. Keep pushing yourself. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast as well as the YouTube channel. If you're looking for some apparel to support the show, go check out the website. We've got some really cool stuff up there. Obviously, the t-shirt and the hat, those are all part of what we're doing. For those of you who are watching on the YouTube, obviously, if you're listening on the podcast, I wish you could see what they look like through the sound of my voice, but that's not really a thing. So until next time, guys, keep reaching for the stars. Fall flat on your face, but remember, whenever we fall, always get up.
Thank you for joining us today on the Edge of Greatness podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and join us again next time as we continue to dig deeper into the key components of greatness. The path to greatness is never linear, so remember to keep pursuing greatness no matter what. Keep stretching your abilities, reach for the stars, and fall flat on your face. But no matter what happens, remember, whenever we fall, always get up. Until next time, I'm Charles Schultz, and this was the Edge of Greatness podcast.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. Please take a moment now to subscribe, rate, and review our show. We are all on the edge of greatness.